So welcome back to another great episode of Audio Voices. My pleasure being your host once again. Today's episode will be highlighting a great push to continue the existence of our pulga out here in San Jose. For those that don't know, the pulga in San Jose is the largest flea market in the U.S., ¿verdad? And so for us, it's a very historic piece of land, right, where a lot of people find community, find their own cultura, and find any necessity they may need right there at the flea market in Berryessa, right? And so Roberto and Mariana have been advocating very hardly to actually continue the existence of the pulga. There are some mistake compromises being made in order to continue the existence, but we want to make sure that going forward, that the pulga has a permanent stay and that it has a place for all of our community to feel like they belong and that they find themselves as the reflection of themselves within the space as well. So again, Mariana and Roberto will be talking to you about their roles and what kind of efforts they're making to actually continue this the existence of the pulga, and continuing the push for, to keep it alive and keep it around in San Jose. Like I said, it has been a historic aspect of San Jose history, and we want to make sure that it continues to be so in the long term. And so I'm gonna allow y'all to get enlightened by their palabra, right? But I'm gonna be linking their Instagram, and wait for y'all to contact them if needed. And also if y'all would like to support as well, But that's it. I'm gonna let them bless you up with some good palabra. And I'm gonna hit the rola.
Hey, my name is Roberto Gonzalez, president of the Berryessa Flea Market Vendors Association, and longtime vendor there at the market. My family started there back in '92, and now we sell piñatas y dulces mexicanos. My pops and mom, been there for almost 30 years now, and I'm a second generation vendor. I was really happy to have that opportunity and everything the life lessons that I've learned there.
Okay. Hi, my name is Mariana Mejia. I am the vice president of the organization. I'm also a vendor at the flea market. I started there I started working for somebody else, but I have family friends that worked there for many years. Working there, I realized hey, what a great experience to have your own business. So I started my own business right after high school, and I've continued my own business. It gives the opportunity to be like a business incubator. And then I joined the organization after I learned that development plans were happening.
Yeah, and then to give background on the organization, back in 2019, really late 2019, November, about give or take. We had a few community leaders come up to vendors and let them know hey, there is another rezoning there at the flea market. This had happened once before back in 2007. I was still a really really young person. I was probably in middle school. Mariano was probably in elementary. But my old man it had the experience there with that rezoning in 2007, and pretty similar stuff happened back then as well, where folks started organizing. Community leaders came out to support and fight against basically the rezoning that would close the market. And again, there really was no plans for the vendors back then in 2007. What they got out of that fight was really just a 1-year notice of eviction before they would ever close the market down. And then so fast forward back to 2019, where this landowner again is looking to rezone it to be able to build more, build higher, build more dense, more office space, more homes, more commercial space. And of course this was not just on them, but also the city wanting that because of the valuable land that it was on, and then also that they already had a BART station right there on site. So just even more enticing for both the landowner and the city to do that. And of course, it just ballooned the value of that property. So their plan was, again, just to forget about the vendors, not consider us in these development plans or even in the conversation at all about the changing landscape there at the flea market site. So that's when we started getting together. We got folks telling us, hey, this stuff is going down. It's going to affect you guys negatively. So that's where me and Mariana were met through that,
Yeah.
And we started organizing, speaking to vendors there at the market just to let them know of all these changes that were occurring. And then from there, that basically birthed the organization that we're at right now, along with the help of so many other vendors and so many other counselors and mentors, really, to get to where we're at this point. But Mariana, I'll go ahead and let you talk about like the really big like those 2 months or those 8 weeks where we were in intense battle with both the landowners and then the city as well.
I would say a year. I think we did it
Yeah.
for a full year, and it continues.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Roberto said, like in 2007 we were able to organize like around 200 vendors. They went to City Hall, did their public comments. They were also able to delay the meeting, and just like history repeated itself. But something Roberto said is like they didn't just went up in 2020. Actually, all those years, for more than 10 years, they were behind closed doors, talking to city planners, talking to commissioners, talking to lobbyists, and making these plans that were going to affect the vendors behind closed doors, saying that they were going to inform us, but it never really went down to the pulga until the very last minute. Even when I met Roberto, their developer was like, "Oh, it's too early to organize. No, the time is not right." But soon to tell that it was like only like 4 months until they were going to take the vote. It was very, very strong, not only because we could, but the developers also put a lot of steps for us to organize. There's a policy at the flea market that if you try to get signatures or inform vendors any type of way, you will be kicked out and you'll be banned from the pulga. That's something that happened to us after the planning commission. On March 24th, we were able to delay the planning commission for a whole month. In that whole month, they came back and without talking to us, without anything, they were like, okay, you need to talk to the vendor, you need to talk to the owners. We talked to them. Even when we talked to them, one time they made it only like 4 vendors could go, no more. We were like, okay, we want everybody to be in this meeting. Like, talk to your vendors, talk to the people that pay you rent. And they're like, no. So Roberto and I organized a meeting after them, and we had vendors. And after that weekend, Roberto got a letter with a lawyer and me like, you cannot do that again. You cannot organize a vendor meeting at La Pulga, which is like, there's a freedom of speech that goes with it, and there's a right to be like, hey, like, you make a living here, you pay your rent here, but you cannot know of any of the development plans. And if you do get information, it's only in English, which we know La Pulga is not only Hispanic issue, it's not only Latino issue, it's not only like Mexico, it's an Asian, it's like Arabic, every culture. ¿Qué más? Korean.
I know there's Japanese folks there.
Todos, like it's a melting pot of San Jose and La Pulga. So, like, knowing that a lot of vendors were like coming up to us, just 4 vendors that had no organization, be like, oye, dame la información. We're like, but it's algo que we will do with the kindness of our heart, but you're the developer. You have millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you can't inform vendors. And when we do try to inform vendors, you're gonna kick us out because a policy that was written like a long time ago, and it was like, for X, Y, and Z, you can't give us explanation. You can't even take photos. And it was a tough battle. It was a battle that we even had to go to a hunger strike to be listened to. I know Roberto, we both like email council members every single week, every morning, not every morning, but like almost every week, and be like, okay, we can have a meeting next week. Okay, we're gonna cancel this meeting. Well, we're only gonna give you 30 minutes, or we're only gonna give you 5 minutes, or give you public comment. Oh, but your public comment is gonna turn to 30 seconds. The 2 minutes? No, it's only 30 seconds. Give your case to us. It was very frustrating. La verdad, I feel like I'm going out of time, but like, it's the fight that we had was something that, it was not only like we won a lot of stuff, but it was very empowering for us to fight those like whole year talking to vendors. Almost every week we had a vendor meeting. A lot of vendors be like, I don't know how to use Zoom, pero can I talk to you after? And can you explain to me? I don't know Chinese, but like we could do sign language, we can talk, we could like hablar como podemos. And it was I don't know, I feel like I'm going off track, but it was a very long fight that it did not start that day. Like como Roberto dijo, like if the vendors wouldn't have fought in 2007, like what we have won right now wouldn't have been as strong. Like wouldn't have been as like technically vendors en ese tiempo, they had to run for us to Roberto to walk and to make city officials to understand that it was not just two vendors. It was every time you hear us, every time you talk to us, there's like 4,000 vendors or 200 vendors or 130, 50 speaking to you, that they want this development to not happen without them. Like put us in the table, not on the menu. That's something that we always talked about. And like now, after the vote, it was the first time that Roberto and I at the table. After the vote, we started meeting with OED, which is Office of Economics Development. And with that, we were able to find a new pulga. And with that, we were able to make accountable those votes. What happened in 2007 and what happened in 2021, to make those votes, those policies, those rules, those meetings, those words to actually go into fruition, to be accountable, to actually find a new pulga, not just like, we're gonna try. Oh, no podemos. Okay, you can, let's find another way. Let's find another route, because the whole time they were telling us, the vote is happening. You're not gonna get anything. Oh, sorry, you're not gonna get anything. Roberto, like vendors, like, hey, I've been working for 30 years. Voy a agarrar algo. ¿Qué va a pasar conmigo? Y le decíamos, like, I'm sorry, they're telling us you can't get anything. But if you organize, you unite. We come a whole circle. We get vendors, and we can become one voice. We're able to achieve a lot. We're able to win a lot. And algo que los vendedores, they start to realize, like even when sitting council, for the first time, we were able to make the city to go to La Pulga. They had a, what's it called?
Meeting
with those vendors. The mayor went there. He heard the vendors. He heard their stories. And I feel like after the meeting, like, is cuando it kind of switched. Like, they realized this land is not just empty. It's not just an empty stand, an empty hall, an empty parking lot. It's actually a person that lives there, that in your city, that sustains their family there. You can stop me whenever. So it's a lot of things had to go in play. We, como Roberto dijo, we were able to create a coalition of more than 16 organizations that were all community-based, all leaders in our community. We were able to like have vendor meetings outside. After we got kicked out of La Pulga, we were like, okay, then we got to park. You cannot stop us, no matter, you can kick us out or in. Cuando los corrieron, they kicked us out. Roberto and I made a promise, be like, okay, we can organize outside. We could get a stand outside, like in the entrance, and put stands, like put signs. This is not gonna stop us. And I feel like that's when the owners even realized that nothing that they could do will stop us. And that's when Roberto and I continued to be like, any obstacle that you put on us or any no that you get of us from the city, we are able to understand that it's possible if you organize. It's possible if you have a community behind you. It's possible if you have leaders that give their story and actually like understand you have power. I don't know, that's like every time we're like, no, okay, then we can find another way. There's a lot of land in San Jose. Like, it's one of the largest, like, third cities in the world. So, like, hay mucha tierra, and it should be land for its own people. It's not like tierra for a big developer. It's not land for an Amazon. It's not land for somebody, an outsider. It's land for its own people that have been living here for more than 65 years, and that's La Pulga. La pelea empezó ahí y empezó with a lie of telling people that we're going to get a bar for our own community, but now we realize the bar was not for our community. It was to displace and gentrify our community, and that's going to happen also in downtown. So it's like the land was fertile because of the vendors. No importa donde los pongas, los mismos vendedores, and the customers are going to go there because they love La Pulga. I don't go there because it's owned by a family. I go own there because it's owned by the community. The thing is, it just also changing the mindset, but it's like, the way I see it is like, everybody knows after the COVID, we're like, oh, small business. And algo que Roberto and I were so like, how can you not see a vendor as a small business? Like, how can you not see a street vendor as a small business? Like, that we had to also change the mind of what is a small business to you. Mm-hmm. Is a small business just like a little pop-up? Like, yeah, pero el dinero, like, is a small business starts also with a vendor. Include a vendor as a small business. Like, in the website, like, todo San Jose after the COVID, we're like, care about equity, small business. We care about like inclusion, and we care about like positivity. And we were like, okay, you know, we're gonna be displays. Where is your accountability of like, you're preaching this to the community so you can be reelected, so you can be voted into it, you can be this and that. But like, let's not forget que lo que estás haciendo with us. Like, you're gonna preach something, okay, we're gonna keep you accountable for the hell you're preaching, because we know damn well you're not equity, you're not business if you're gonna displace vendors. Like, development without displacement is actually a good development. Like Google, you could do a community benefits agreement. That's something that we advocated, but we couldn't get it because it was different. Google was Google. La Pulga was like, what is like, it was like oranges. Like, somebody told us like, it's just apples to orange. Oh no, like football. Like, it was actually like a actual ball, golf ball or something like that.
Like, basically it was just no,
yeah,
like it made no sense
it's
to compare it.
Yeah, I mean, like, no, like Roberto said perfectly. It's like actually like keeping those people accountable to what the hell you're saying. Like, there's people listening to you. You cannot just say something in the news and like wipe out. Algo que también lo veíamos, like, we would go on the news and be like, they would change our whole story, like, cause like, and they would give more time to the developers. When they were city councils, more time to the developers. Is that like, como digo, Roberto, be at the table with something that you will actually see a difference for the first time. And like, now we know that there's leaders, like there's like Luna, and there's other organizations that are someone that are like listening, and we are able to like, they were such a great help for us to actually understand like, we can keep you accountable, and we are doing it. And there's not just like those like 2 vendors. We have a lot of vendedores.
No, definitely. And then I think that was it. Like, that was our role, you know. Con eso empezamos, you know, like that was our goal. Like, we got to inform these people. We got to let them know what's going on, because
we
they were...
never promise anything to vendors. We nunca les decimos, like, te prometo 5 millones, te prometo una tierra.
5 acres.
Yeah, I'm like, la verdad, vamos a nadar. We're just gonna jump, y si agarramos algo, quiero que tú estés ahí conmigo. I want you to be informed. You don't want to be part of esta organización porque te van a correr, they're going to kick you out, or you're scared that the owners are going to harass you. Fine. We never share the information with anybody. We were the first thing that we told them, tu información es segura. We're not, like, when there's anything, Roberto and I, me and you are going to take the blame of anything. Like, es algo que, like, we never promised anything to them, but at least we did promise one that we will fight into the end. And our fight, like amigo Roberto, we won the fight, not the battle. The battle is still going, and it's 2 years to come. Like, we don't, even when we find a new pulga, our goal after we find a new pulga is making the community to understand, ese es tu home now. Esa es la home de la comunidad. Una pulga de la comunidad, a vendor pulga, democratic run. If there's a problem, we all gonna vote for it as like together. If you have a different opinion, to understand that is welcome, not because like we only want Roberto and I. Like, no, we want everybody. I wish everybody could be at the table, like, la verdad, pero it's very hard organizing in a land that doesn't like you. So like, también this is la comunidad. Like, if you're a community and you ever go to La Pulga, ask them, like, do you know about the plans? Is there any way that I could help you? Muchas personas dicen, like, how can I help you? Like, go to La Pulga.
And then, yeah, just to you know, like, put on all that point, like, where we're at right now is that, you know, we want a brand new market elsewhere. You know, we understand that we have those 5 acres there on site. You know, that's one of the things that we want, but that's not going to be enough. You know, it's not going to be enough. Those 5 acres, you know, we need another site. We need 5 acres and another site. So that's really our big push right now, to make sure that, you know, we're shifting, like I said, that mindset that the city has, you know, that these developers have, that, hey, this is something that's successful. You know, we have the people, we have the vendors, we have the community support, you know, for it. So that's what we all should really work for. You know, that's our main goal there. Hopefully some 15 acres, like you said, either at freaking Lake Cunningham. I don't know about Emma Prush, but this is a really nice place, you know, like different sites like that. Like, sí hay la posibilidad, right? There's definitely a possibility, but now it's on all of us to push towards that. And there's going to be a moment when, you know, like us as vendors, like, we're working towards it, and we're going to call on the community to be like, hey, would you guys want this? And I'm pretty damn sure everyone's going to say yes. So that's when we're going to need folks to step up and, you know, talk to their council members, talk to their county supervisors, talk to all these officials and all these people in influence and positions of power that can make that change and can make it happen. and push them towards that direction, right? And I don't think we're there yet, but that's what we're pushing for. That's our freaking goal. Like, that's our main goal. And then once we have that, it's ours to control. It's ours to operate. Of course, like me and you won't be able to do it by ourselves. We're going to need folks and other organizations to help, nonprofits, part of the city as well, but all combined with the same mind goal to uplift communities, uplift people, and make sure that our gente, all our people here from, the east side or other sites in the city and Baywide, right, that use this as a super resource for themselves, that it's still there and it's still an incubator and it's still somewhere that people could go and have a start, have that opportunity to have a start.
Just like why do customers go para take your family? Roberto said perfectly. He remembers being a little kid being in La Pulga, and one day I want to take my kids to continue the legacy and the generation of La Pulga. Yeah, we're not there yet, but we're for sure not gonna let them forget. Like, exactly. Por eso, like if you we can't let city council forget. Like in 2022, there's going to be re-elections and we're going to get new people on the table, and those people need to realize that if you get in the table, you have to have in the mindset that La Pulga has to be one of your goals to continue the legacy. Yeah. The city council saved a theater, which I like the theater. Is in Winchester. They made it a historic land. Like, how can you not make La Pulga a historic land? And es algo que we still continue to advocate. Como dijo Roberto, it's changing the mind of a lot of people. And I think changing the mind is kind of hard because you cannot change anybody's mind. But at least knowing the value and the worth. That's why there's going to be a study. What's it called? Just a study?
The economic study?
Economic study for everybody. Para que lo tengan en papel. Like, you can see, like, el dinero. You care about money. Like, that study is going to help us a lot too. Like, para las personas ver que the community knows. I know, Roberto knows, the vendor knows.
Because we see it every day, right? We see it every day when we're out there, hustling, when we're working. We see the engine that it does. And besides it being economic, right? Like, it's a cultural impact, right?
It's a wealth in the community.
Like, sure. It's a community benefit. Exactly. Like, people come out here to San Jose and they're like, ¿Dónde vamos? Oh, vámonos a La Pulga. Like, literally last week, jugaron las Chivas at PayPal, right? And there was hella families at the Pulga with their Chivas jersey, and I don't know who they play. I think León, and hella León families,
Because you can get Chivas at La Pulga too.
Right? And what were they doing? They were going to the game, but they're like, hey, we're going to stop by the Pulga first, have a couple beers, walk around, have fun, and then we'll go, watch the game. So that's what it is, it brings that. It's an attraction. It's a place for the community to go out and pasarse una buena tarde, at the end of the day. If we boil it all down, that's really what it is. And, it's a benefit for all of us, for the community and the vendors que venden ahí. And that's what we need to continue. And, of course, like, maybe we won't be able to take our kids to this same Pulga, but we'll be able to take them to the next Pulga.
2.0 class.
And there you have it. And again, I know that, we provided this highlight, or we highlighted the roles, right, that they had within the Pulga, but also want to acknowledge that Roberto and Mariana are both great leaders within the community doing additional work to their advocacy for La Pulga. So for me, I have huge respect for them too. They're doing a lot of great work in different forms and in different kind of organizations to continue to uplift our own communities and making sure that we have representation in different places, you know what I mean? And so that's enough said. I just want to say thank you. Y'all been in tune to Barrio Voices. We highlight the voices of our barrios, familias, and communities. This is Velas, and to you all, much love. Cuídense. Órale.